Critically Chaotic is a rowdy Dungeons and Dragons podcast that consists of adult themes and humor. Content warnings for this episode can be found in the episode description as well as a link to transcripts. Rest, weary traveler, and enjoy.
In the last episode, the Vox spent the day taking care of a few things. They went to see Valen and dropped off the recovered artifacts, and Vay, Snow, and Kareus all made plans to go see him later in the day. The majority of the team dropped by the magic shop to figure out what the potions they found in the hideout were, including the ones consumed by Mogan and Jerome. Afterwards, they did a little clothes shopping, and Jerome pulled Vay aside to make some amends. Now, the Vox works on their next steps.
So, Kareus, you head on over to meet with Valen, right? So you head on over and you arrive early at the house, and Valen arrives about 5 to 10 minutes later. And he goes, Kareus, I hope you weren't waiting long. Sorry about that.
Oh, no, you're perfectly alright.
He unlocks the house and lets you in.
Kareus goes in. How was work today?
It's been good. I just finished cleaning all of the artifacts. That's why I'm running a tad late. I had to finish that up. They're all still in pretty good condition. You all took good care of it, bringing them back.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Kareus, but before I start making lunch, I wanted to apologize for how we parted ways before. I was extremely unfair to you, which, looking back on it, I was acting quite rude. And I wanted to apologize for why I said things I said.
Kareus kind of pauses, and then he says, It's alright. I want to apologize as well, because I know I wasn't being very good at communicating, which I know probably wasn't very easy to deal with, but I appreciate the apology nonetheless, and there are no hard feelings. I understand.
He nods and he starts putting lunch together.
Kareus kind of leans on the counter, so he's facing Valen, but there's still like some distance between them. He says, I just wanted to maybe get a chance to talk to you in private about everything. I know we haven't really spoken since everything until now, and I panicked quite a bit when I saw you. I didn't really know how to handle it, and didn't react well, and so I just wanted to maybe get the chance to actually talk to you when both of us are actually calm-ish.
Of course, yes. I'd really like that.
I sort of nod awkwardly, and he places his gloves and he says, admittedly, I was thinking about this most of the way here, and now everything is out of my head. But Valen, I never meant to be dishonest with you, or make you feel like I wasn't present with you, or anything like that. I wanted to stay, or at least wanted to want to stay, and it had nothing to do with you, because I wanted to stay with you. But I don't know. Kind of glances at Valen, trying to get a read on his feelings.
Valen looks like it looks like he's trying to keep kind of like an impassive expression, like he's trying not to like let anything show on his face that would make Kareus like stop talking or like change subject or anything. And so when Kareus kind of trails off, like he's not exactly sure what to say, Valen says, I still can't 100% understand your reasoning, but I'm not going to fault you for how you felt. I was very angry, and I was making a lot of assumptions about why you did or didn't do certain things. And it's taken a very long time and a lot of reflection for me to realize that that was extremely unfair to you. And that I don't know, I should have just talked to you instead of made assumptions or whatever it is that I was thinking back then.
I don't think either of us are very good at talking about our feelings.
No, certainly not.
I am sorry, though, for any pain I put you through.
As am I. Kareus, the last thing I wanted to do, and the last thing I want to do now, is hurt you in any capacity, which is why I was extra angry at myself for how I was when we parted, because it was clear that I was just doing the same thing that I did before, which, well, I see how that turned out the first time, so foolish of me to think that it would work out this time.
The last thing I ever want to do is hurt you either. You're still a very important person to me. And I know it doesn't feel like it, Valen, but I do trust you. Probably more than anyone else currently living. And I would like it if maybe we could perhaps move forward, be friends.
Of course. I never... Things was weird between us, but I never stopped thinking of you as a friend, Kareus.
Kareus definitely looks a little surprised at that, but smiles, and relaxes, and he says, Okay. Valen, there is another thing, it's different. It's another topic. So if there's anything else on your mind about this,
Is this how you're dating someone in your party? Because I'm not going to be offended.
Oh, no, no,
Oh, no? You're not?
I, I'm not romantically involved with anyone. Um,
Oh,
not really looking for that. Um,
sorry. You just seem very close with, uh, sorry.
no, it's okay. Um, the, I do care a lot for the members of my parties. Most of them, besides, leave startlingly quick. Um, but, no, no romance. But, no, it's not about that. Um, I don't want to be dishonest with you. When I said back, I need you to hear me out on this, Valen. When I said that, we couldn't find the necklace, that wasn't quite true. The truth is that it's very important to someone in my party.
Before you say something, Elle bites on your hand really hard.
Ow! I'm sorry, that peaked it. That peaked the mic. I'm so sorry.
My boy!
Are you okay?
I'm giving Elle so many treats.
Yes. He shakes out his hand, and he looks at Elle, and he sighs. What point did Elle bite his hand?
Probably being like, so when I told you about the neck, like, so like probably before you like managed to say like the necklace or whatever, that's when he like chomps down real hard on your hand.
Kareus looks at Elle, and he sighs, and he says, okay, fuck. Valen, really, it is all right. I have bandages. I'm not even bleeding.
No, it's fine. It's fine. He's like, there's something in my room. I'll go grab it. And then he goes into his room to grab the med kit from before. And Elle kind of looks up at you and gives you like a pouty face.
Kareus just kind of looks at his hand and looks at Elle and says, okay, I won't say anything else. I'm sorry. I wasn't going to tell him anything, but never mind. And he just kind of gives Elle an apologetic pat on the head.
When Kareus is saying like, okay, I won't say anything, Elle like kind of like relaxes and then nuzzles against your hand like, I'm sorry that I did that. I just had to do it.
Kareus gives him a smile and pets him more full body pets, and to let him know he's not upset.
So Valen comes back out and he has his little med kit, and so he like pulls his chair next to Kareus and is like cleaning his hand and bandaging it up.
I'm really all right. You don't need
Oh
to
yes,
go through
I'm
all this
really
trouble.
all right. You just only got bit very hard by a very angry moth, and kind of like gives like an almost like a playful scolding, like I'm not actually going to be really mad at you, little animal, but also you hurt my friend, but also you're tiny. You know, that kind of a like scolding look. And he's like bandaging up his hand. Yes, but what was it that you were trying to say?
Honestly, it's not really important. It was, it's in the past. Is there oh, wait, I do have something for you. I almost forgot. He gently pulls away both his hands so that he can dig in his bag and pulls out the journal and the painting that he got. It was a journal and a painting, right? Yes. From Tamaraine's place, and he offers it to Valen. He says, I didn't know if these would have any historical value at your museum, but I wanted to take them for you anyway. It was in the Thistle's hideout, and see if you would um, find any use in them, either for the museum or just for studying. And he offers both to him.
Valen's eyes are like so wide, and he takes them and he like looks it over. He like looks over the painting. He flips through the journal. Kareus, this is amazing. This is wonderful. Thank you.
Kareus just like very shyly smiles and is getting all flustered down. He's like, it's no, yeah, you're welcome. I'm glad it's good.
Oh, this is far more than good. These are basically other artifacts. This is fabulous. Thank you.
Of course. Um, I, 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 I hope, yeah.
He sets it aside and he is just giddy.
Kareus just smiling, because like he probably hasn't seen Valen truly excited in a while, so he's just like, um, very happy about that. So, and also kind of grateful he had that distraction for Valen.
Valen returns to his cooking, and while he's doing so, he brings over like some small chopped vegetables to Elle because he is under the assumption that Elle is just like really hungry, which is why he bit Carius, and so he's like, "Eat these vegetables, eat these vegetables, little bug." Uh, and he says, I wanted to thank you again for getting the artifacts. Like I can't say thank you enough. You and your group are truly quite amazing. He brings over the food and he's just kind of like generally chatting, switching between like asking Carius about what he's been up to and talking about like the museum and stuff. Uh, and it's about like kind of closer to the end of the meal that he says, "Oh, I told Vay and Snow that I would give them the money when we met up, but if we're going to be going back to the exhibit, then it might just be easier for everyone if I just give you the money now, so that then there doesn't have to be a double back to my place. So is it all right if I give you the money now and you can distribute it to your teammates?"
Oh, yes, sure. That's perfectly all right.
All right, give me a moment. And he goes back to his room to get the uh, his bag of money, and he returns. We didn't have an agreed upon price, right? As he's like digging through his money.
No. Just you, what you can spare, Valen. It's not. There's no pressure.
You all saved 6 of my artifacts. That is much more than nothing, I promise you. Uh, he fishes out about 20 gold and he hands it over to you. I'm sorry that it can't be enough per person, but um, should any of you all return, I'd be happy to help out however I can. Uh, you all have certainly repaid me in a great way.
It's more than enough. Thank you. Um, and we will probably be by again at least sometime, and I can stop by to say goodbye before we leave out of town, maybe?
Of course, yeah, I'd love that. I'd really appreciate that.
Okay. Um, Thank you for the payment and for the lunch as well. It was very good.
Of course, anytime. I'll be here. Oh, one last thing before you head on out. I have to get back to the museum too. Um, would it be alright if I wrote letters every so often? I know that we only write each other letters for our birthdays, but since we met up and we've finally cleared the air a little bit, I thought that maybe we could keep more in contact.
Oh, sure. That would be all right.
Alright, wonderful. thank you again, Kareus, and I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll be saying hello to your other two teammates tonight, so I'll give them my regards then.
Of course. Have a good night or day.
You too, Kareus.
Uh, yeah. Good day. And he heads out. Probably goes to see if the group is still at the library.
On your way back, Elle gives you a nice nuzzle to be like, "Good job, buddy."
Kareus looks very conflicted, but he pets Elle anyway. Gives him a smile.
All right, so you get back to the museum or to the library, and all of you are reunited once more.
Is it about time that Snow and I would have to go meet Valen?
You probably still have a couple hours.
I would probably go and try and like sleep for a couple hours because I know I'm gonna be staying up for a good portion of the night. Cool, then yeah, Snow's gonna pass out until we gotta go.
Can I have Jerome share what he learned from Valen and the contact he's extending about the mask thing? Hey, so before we bunk down properly, while I was picking up Stabby Stab, I dropped it on the way over by Valen's office. So we ended up talking for a little bit before I skedaddled and head back to y'all. It occurred to me, Valen knows shit about like old shit, and he's kind of a history buff. So I asked him about like the mask thing that we saw, just to see if like he knew stuff, cause like he didn't know much. Just that it was like some sort of religious thing. But he said that he did know somebody who did know something in Rusman, so he's writing them to write to us, and so I'll get a name at some point. Letters will be sent to the Mercenaries Guild for us. And then we could probably meet up with them in Rusman and ask. No.
Vusnikor.
Vusnikor. In.
A voice from above corrects you.
God.
No, sorry.
Vusnikor.
Sorry, did I say Rusman? I meant Vusnikor. So, if we ever end up heading out that way, we can meet up with them and try and get some more info out of them, one-on-one, person on person. So, yeah, heebie-jeebies, but I want to know more, just in case. So, just a heads up.
Quick question. Since when did the mask business become your business?
It's weird. I don't like it. That shit is in a hidey hole.
I know you were the one who found the mask, but isn't it kind of... Shouldn't we all know more about it, especially if we're going to go after Tamrain, who seems to be heavily involved with all of this?
Ultimately, it is a religious thing, so I am quite content taking on that burden. I'm not sure why the group would need to.
Just so we could all have that information, but...
Well, I would share it as I learn it, of course, as I already have.
I'm not...
No, yeah, it's good to have multiple resources, you know?
Snow just kind of looks over at Vey with a bit of a hard-to-read expression.
I honestly don't care about what you do about the mask thing, but I am exceedingly tired about Jerome's whole way of going about this issue. I'm exhausted. There's just constantly information that's coming from irregular places hitting us. It's tiring, and it's making the already shaky trust I have in you that much worse. It's just got bad written all over.
I don't have information, is the thing. So I'm finding information and sharing it with y'all as I find it, as best I can. Because it's good to have everybody on the same page, you know?
The thing is, we're not all on the same page. You're doing random shit off on the side, and we're all working together. I don't know anything. Snow doesn't know really anything past what we've shared.
No, yeah, nobody knows shit.
Yes, so that's why we should all work together instead of splitting off and doing random stuff in the background.
This was me trying to contribute. Like, it only occurred to me later when we were all leaving. I dropped my knife, and then I ran into Valen, and I was like, oh hey, Valen knows history shit. Good person to ask. If y'all were there, I would have asked him, but y'all weren't. I would have asked him in front of you. Just...
You see, Jerome, you're lying to my face right now. You know what's funny? I had tailed Valen because I'm worried for his safety, and... No. I'm tired. You're just wrong. You're lying again, and I'm tired of it.
Listen, this mask business is just... It's weird. I don't like it, and I want to know more.
It is weird, and I think it'd be best if we all worked together and didn't lie to each other's faces and make stupid decisions that way.
Alright.
That's it, alright. That's it.
Alright.
Snow, did you want to go rest before?
Yes, I would quite like to get away. And
There is stuff that I want to say to you, Jerome, right now.
I'm all
but
ears.
I think all it do... You're all ears?
Yeah. I'm happy to listen.
So... where are we right now?
I feel like y'all would have left the library, so you're probably just, like, on the streets.
Okay. So here's what's going to happen, Jerome. You're going to shut up, and you're going to listen to what I have to say to you really quickly. Alright?
I'm shut up.
Lovely. Ever since I've known you, you have made a string of absolutely terrible decisions that I feel like they need to be outlined for you in basically point form so you understand just how much I don't trust you. So we'll start at the beginning. The first important thing that we ever did together, the first job we ever did, you were one of the individuals that decided way too late to notify Snow and I that a member of our group had mysteriously disappeared and the other two had ran off into the forest. You woke up everybody else instead of us, which means that we were an easy target and at great risk to the people that were actively attacking us. Second, you somehow poisoned yourself not once, but twice during a dangerous mission in which all of us had to cover for you and were put in danger because of it. You literally had to be carried part way through because you were unconscious fully of your own selfish and short-sighted actions. You constantly questioned the only two females of the group without much basis to do so, and in doing so, you do it in such a disrespectful and untactful way. Because of this, neither of us wish to spend any time near you, worried that everything that we say and do will be judged or scanned as if we were anything other than teammates, which we're supposed to do. Additionally, you failed to notify the group that you had a habit of changing personas in the middle of high-tense situations, which is exceedingly jarring when happening in the middle of a fight. You have such a loose grip on your magic that at any moment it could backfire on you, and could end up harming you or any of us. For now, it may seem like a little charming character thing, I don't know, with your helping hands disobeying you and stomping on your clothes, but when it comes to volatile and dangerous magic, it turns you into a giant liability. 2 olive branches that I extended you, including when I helped you in your first attempt at magic, which failed, as well as my offer to use my mask to hide your identity before we enter the underground base, which I use myself to hide my fear in battle, and using an arcane focus, where these 2 olive branches were taken and either ignored or used against me at a later time, during which you questioned my intrigue with the mask, though I was wearing one at the time. Finally, the obvious boundary that I set not even a day ago about being questioned blatantly and examined was immediately broken and trampled upon by you. Now, based on all this, why in the absolute hell would I trust you, much less inform you of something extremely personal to me? With this whole mask business. At most right now, I'm comfortable with sharing the bare minimum needed for you to operate alongside this group, but I am completely disinterested in you involving yourself in my business in any way, seeing as you seem incapable of dealing it in a mature or helpful way that includes the rest of the group, instead of you just doing your own shit off on the side. Do you get it now?
Jerome sighs and kind of scratches at the back of his head. I gotta say, you've given me a lot to think about, and I'm gonna have to ponder on some of the stuff you said, but if it was something personal, you could have just said it was something personal. That's all I needed.
It literally just came up with it being Tamrain. I'm scrambling myself, and the way that you're dealing with it is exceedingly upsetting to me. And anybody with any social tact would realize that Tamrain and the mask and anything involving that is affecting me on a personal level, especially since I talked about Tamrain and my whole group beforehand and how they went behind my back and did shitty things and didn't inform me of what they were doing, just suddenly came up with information, much like what you're doing right now.
I meant beforehand, like when we were talking about the mask thing in the hideout itself. You could have just said, "Hey, I know some stuff, but I don't want to share it. It's personal," and I would have been fine with that.
Why would I have said that when you approached it in such an absolutely horrible way, in front of everybody, in the middle of a tense situation, when we literally just killed people in a dangerous location with known bandits being there?
I mean, there was no reason for me to not question you about it. In my mind, there was a whole bunch of tense stuff happening, and any information in my mind was good information. If you didn't want to share, you didn't have to share. You just had to say that you knew something.
I mean, I shared as much as I knew at the time, and when I sort of showed that I was uncomfortable with continuing going, Snow noticed that, stepped up, offered what she knew, and you also questioned her. You see how it was a bad social tact? Again? Non-sportsmanship behavior?
No, yeah, in hindsight, it was a bad move on my part, and I do apologize for that. And you don't have to accept the apology or anything. I'm gonna, like I said, you gave me a lot to think about with stuff. I can't guarantee I can change stuff right away. But I don't want. I do care about y'all. Not an insignificant bit. And I may be a dumbass, but I don't want to be a harmful dumbass, you know?
I get that. And I'm not asking you to change, I'm asking you to learn. And you've had several opportunities to do so already. But if you want me or Snow to trust you again, you have to show that you're worth trusting and that you won't get us killed by continuing the behaviors that you had before. Now, I think it might be best if we just go to our rooms now, and then Snow and I go and do our thing tonight. Maybe if you stayed in an actual room, it might be a good idea, given that this whole mask thing isn't the best situation. I don't know what the hell is going on with it. I don't know if anybody else knows. I know that Tamrain knows. So, being away from the group might not be a good idea. If you want to start making good decisions, that's a good one to start with.
Let me make another one. When we get back to the inn, in a less public sort of place, I got something else to share.
You all walk in awkward silence back to the Mercenary Guild after everything. And you all you head to your rooms. So now, Jerome, do you gesture for everyone to go into the room? Do you just try to talk to they alone? How's this gonna go down?
This is for everyone.
Oh man.
I I gesture everyone in the room and ask for help checking to make sure that there's nobody/nothing listening in.
I got 26.
You look around very closely. You're like laser focused after the awkwardness of everything. And there is, you don't find anything. You don't find anybody. There's not even like a bird at your window. There's nothing.
Jerome is standing next to the coffee table, just kind of looking awkward and a little bit regretful. Oh boy. Alright, so would you mind doing me the same sort of thing that I showed you of being able to speak without interruption? Just so I can put everything on the table before you respond?
Yeah, I'll wait till you're concluded to input my opinion.
Okay. You're gonna want to yell, probably pretty quickly, but just wait, okay? So, you were saying that you didn't have any reason to show me trust, and honestly, I was also feeling a little bit of the lack of trust for a good long while, and honestly, most of y'all, I might trust you not to knife me in the back, but probably not much further than that. I have trust issues. It's a thing. So first off, before everything else, Jerome reaches into a side pocket in his coat, rummages around for a minute, pulls out the mask that you all saw hanging on the wall, and places it on the table. I was the one who grabbed that mask from you. Now, hold up. I know you might want to yell at me, but let me explain. I'm a paranoid motherfucker. And I know y'all know that I'm a paranoid motherfucker. That mask has given me nothing but bad juju vibes since we first fucking saw it. I didn't know it was a personal thing for you. Genuinely. I didn't want anybody to have it. I was gonna fucking burn the thing. Before. I just was gonna grab it and burn it once we got the fuck out of the base. And I didn't want anybody to have that sort of... I don't know, curse. It just absolutely screamed, cursed item, do not wear. And I didn't want anybody to deal with that sort of shit. So I took it. And then when you started getting all paranoid about it, and we saw that fucking death room, I was like, okay, some shit's going on here. They probably has some sort of reason to want to keep the mask to herself, because she admitted it was not good, but she still wanted to hold on to it. That's kind of very suspicious to me, as a person. And when Snow started kind of backing you a little bit, like only sharing the bare minimum of information, it was just, I didn't trust it, and I didn't trust you with that. So I kept quiet. I didn't say shit. I didn't know it was like a personal thing for you. I didn't know any of that shit. To me, it just looked like y'all were hiding some shit about some cursed artifact or some whatever that you didn't want to say anything about. And it scared me. It scared me. It had me suspicious. And so, given all that, I decided to do a little bit of investigating of my own. When that night we came back from the mission, the job, I went out on my own in the Jack costume to do some investigating. Found out more about the mask. I didn't get caught. I have a couple of contacts here as Jack that I can count on to help provide me some information and goods. So, through one of those contacts, I found out more about the mask. It's a mask for the god of the mask. It's some sort of religion that's particularly focused on darkness. I went and investigated it a little bit. They do services on a weekly basis, and they were talking a lot about the history and stuff behind it. They're probably going to do another service next week, and I'd be happy to show y'all where that is once I find out about the next service. They change locations frequently. I didn't trust y'all. And I still don't know if I fucking trust y'all with sharing stuff, but given everything you just said, and given everything I just said, I'm willing to put this forward, admit my mistake. This is me saying, I fucked up. I didn't trust y'all. But I'm trying to share this. Maybe not so much as to prove my trust, because this is not the fucking way to do it, Jesus Christ. I'm trying. I don't, genuinely, I want to be able to trust y'all. And I don't want to fucking hide shit if I feel like I don't need to. Now that I know it's like strictly a personal thing and not a, hey, we're fucked up evil people that are just really good at hiding it. These are my cards on the table. Alright, go ahead. If you gotta yell, yell.
Snow takes a minute before she takes a deep breath and her arms relax a little, but you can tell that they're holding fists as well. And she looks deep into Jerome's eyes for a moment and goes, "So, despite the fact that I was the first person to try and talk to you, to try and get to know you, to learn cards from you and extend friendship to you when we barely knew each other, you think that questioning me and doubting me and doubting my sister after you already stole from her is the correct way to go about anything? In what world do you think you will ever earn our trust again? 'Cause I know you won't earn mine. And she turns and just walks to the door and waits for Vey to follow when she is done.
Vey looks like she wants to talk, but she's going to look at. She already gave her piece, so she's gonna wait for everybody else to talk before she says her things. She's looking at people, being like, "You gonna go? You gonna go?" So she's just waiting.
I think Leaf would be like, listen, I understand that we've only known each other a short amount of time. And I know that trust was already shaky. But this is serious. You stole from one of us. Lied to us. And I don't know, I appreciate that you're coming forward with it, but I don't know how I can trust you either. At least not for now. And he just kind of looks down and continues to think, but he's done talking.
I think everybody else is done. So you see Vey just not looking like she's gonna harm Jerome. Just preface this. She takes out the small knife that has been mentioned on multiple occasions and you've seen her use before, and she flips it out so it's sort of held blade facing down, and she rears her arm back and stabs it into the table that's in between them. And then she moves her hand and it just sort of sits there standing up. And then after looking at it for a couple of moments, she returns her gaze up to Jerome's. And then she opens her mouth and says, I have been holding this knife for years now. And this knife was given to me by Tamarine. Whenever I look at this dagger, it is a reminder of what the people of my old group did to me. Doing shit behind my back, lying to my face, among other things that I won't get into right now. But for a while there, it was a symbol that every single person in this group and what we are making together is something different and new, and that none of you would do what they did to me again. As I gaze at this knife now, all it is doing is reminding me that putting your trust in others is ill-advised. Though it may not have crossed your mind at the time, seeing at how short-sighted you seem to be, you've confirmed that a break of trust is inevitable when I'm dealing with individuals such as you. And then she will take up the knife in her hand again, be like, it seems that despite me outlining all of your horrible decisions earlier this night, you had one more to tell me that seems to trump every single other decision on how terrible of an idea it was. I don't know what else you've been up to, but I'm just going to tell you that it will take a long, long time and a lot of effort for you to regain my trust. I will say I appreciate that you are telling us this in this moment, but that does not replace the fury running through me in this moment. Now, if you want to tell me anything else, I'd really suggest you do it tomorrow or the day after, because I don't think I'm quite prepared to get any more exceedingly disappointing news today. And they will get up, move towards the door, but then she'll wait to see if Leaf and Kareus and if they're going to join us.
I think Leaf would stand up because he just doesn't want to be in this room anymore. He needs to get out and go walk. And he stands up and he looks at Kareus to see what he's thinking of doing.
Kareus, sits for a moment longer and looks at Jerome, and then, stands up as well and, just kind of heads for the door because he also thinks he needs to go for a walk.
Seeing everybody stand up and move towards the door, Snow opens it and allows everyone else to go through, and then takes 1 second to pause, reach in her bag, and pull out the deck of cards that Jerome had given her, and drop it on the floor before walking out.
Jerome watches them all go, watches the door close behind them, leaving him alone in the room. Just kind of sighs for a moment and chuckles a little to himself. It's a laugh that has no humor in it. Every single fucking time. Try over and over and over and over again, and it never... Great. Well... He looks over at Alice. What do you think, Alice? I think we should just... I don't know, leave?
Alice kind of considers that. Unlike every other moment where it seems that there isn't a minute where she's not quivering in fear, she's kind of very still and calm. She's really trying to think about what's best for Jerome right now. And then she hops over a little bit and she kind of stretches up and reaches for the coin around Jerome's neck and kind of flips it over to the tail side, which I'm just gonna say the whole penny, if it's heads up that's good luck, if it's heads down it's bad luck when you pick it up, so flips it to the tail side as though to say your luck isn't all that great right now, but then she kind of shifts back and goes and hops onto one of the beds and nestles down, she's saying, but we're gonna stay.
Jerome kind of smiles down at Alice, just a very small smile, and pats her head again. If you think this is just a turn of bad luck, then I guess we can stick around for a bit. God, I keep fucking this up so bad, and may worship the goddess of luck and stuff, but goddamn if bad luck don't bite me in the ass sometimes, huh?
Alice kind of goes up to you and nibbles on your sleeve to tug it a little bit, so being get more on the bed. And when Jerome is fully on the bed, she hops up into his lap and curls up with him.
Jerome hugs her gently at first, but with increasing force to be a good, solid hug. Hope I don't fuck this up with you, too. God. You're good, Alice. You're good.
She bites like your little earlobe, like she's kind of turning it back on you, like, and you are too.
Well, we've paid the piper for all the shit I've pulled. Let's just hope it turns out. God, it's not gonna turn out in my favor. But let's hope it doesn't turn out awful for everyone else, at least, huh? If I'm gonna fuck things up for myself, then very least I hope I don't fuck things up for everyone else.
Critically Chaotic is a Dungeons & Dragons podcast brought to you by the following people. The DM is Xaan, who can be found as @Xandir on all platforms. They is played by Alex, who simply cannot be found. Snow is played by Bean, aka Alexa, who can be found in a variety of ways, but mainly @Alexandra_Jaden on Twitter. Kareus is played by Kian, who can be found as @LostFanboy on most platforms. Jerome is played by Lady, who writes, quote, "And that's all you get, you dirty gremlins." Mogan is played by Queen, who chooses not to be located at this time or ever. Leaf is played by Sayla, also known as Strawberry online, who can be found as @_strawberrymilk on Twitter. The theme song is Melody by Emorie. If you would like to support Critically Chaotic, please consider leaving a 5-star review and following us on whatever podcast listening platform you are currently using. You can find us @CritChaoticPod on Twitter with no underscores, where we post updates and retweet fan content. For any other platform you would like to see us on, please look in the description. We will see you next week for the continuing adventures of Vox Anima. Have a great week, everyone.
Holy fuck.
Holy fucking indeed. Good job, you two, damn.
I'm not kidding, my heart was beating so hard and so fast when I was popping off. It felt so bad, but at the same time, I needed to do it as Vay.
God, you did so good! You did amazing!